Welcome to my podcast. This space is for the woman who feels the whisper that her life is meant for more. And I am so excited. Not only are you here, but the universe and spirit has brought you here. That just means so much to me. Before I tell you exactly what this space is about, let me tell you who I am. I'm Sarah Manning. I'm a woman who chose herself. I am an oracle. I am an intuition coach. I am a channel for a group of divine beings called the Oracles of Divine Feminine Energy, but for short, I just call them the Oracles. They're pretty amazing, and I cannot wait to introduce you to them. I am someone who listens to spirit as easily as most people check the weather, but that's not who I always was. Today, I live in alignment. Today, I trust my inner voice. Today, I make decisions from expansion, not fear. Today, I have the privilege to teach women how to remember the power they have always carried. But trust me, I did not start here. I actually grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. Thank God I made it out. I started as someone who looked outside of herself for answers. I questioned my knowing. I second guessed my instincts. I wondered if I was too much or not enough, even. I used to believe confidence was something you earned if ever you were lucky enough to achieve it. That power was something that you proved. That intuition was something, quote unquote, gifted to only a select chosen few. I believed luck was what others would always have, and my dreams and goals would always remain just out of reach. But then I remembered something deep down in my soul. We are all intuitive, not just in a trendy way, not in a mystical, not in just a mystical aesthetic way, but in a cellular way, in a soul way. There was a moment in my life where I realized the voice inside me had never actually been wrong. I just hadn't been listening. Trust me when I tell you, this awakening was not always pleasant. Some days felt like my entire world was crumbling. Some moments even felt terrifying. I wasn't fully convinced I was even doing the right thing, but I just knew that what I actually had been doing for years was no longer working. It wasn't making me happy. Honestly, it was like when I finally had enough courage to leave the Jehovah's Witness cult. It was just this knowing that I couldn't stay where I was anymore. I decided it was to stop. It was really, 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 truly time to stop lying to myself and the world. It was time to see outside of what I thought I knew. So I started listening. I chose healing. I chose responsibility, even when it was my own responsibility to change my life. I chose to stop abandoning myself in order to be accepted. And you know what? Something extraordinary happened. My life didn't crumble. My intuition got louder. My life ended up actually getting clearer. My confidence stopped being performative and started being embodied. I stopped trying to become someone else. And I really, truly started not only returning to myself, but discovering who I was. I made life-changing decisions that logically made no sense at all, but ended up being the best decisions ever made. Some thought I was crazy. My husband of 20 years, he came along with me on the ride, and people thought he was even crazier for doing it. But you know what? Together, we created lives that are beyond ordinary, almost free of stress, Of course, I want to emphasize the almost because we are human and fear does come up from time to time, but we know how to ensure it doesn't chain us to a life that feels quote unquote safe, yet secretly is keeping us in a world of limits, doubt, and fear. My journey to spirit really truly started the day I was born. I was born on June 7th at 4:44 a.m. See, 444 is very significant, but the number seven is also incredibly powerful. Back in the Grecian times, because I have a seven in my birthday, I would have automatically been initiated and invited into different um, temples and opportunities that others would not have had the opportunity to just be invited to or would have proved that they were um able to join that temple with the qualifications. But because I have a number seven, that means there's some deep spiritual connection. So I think that's pretty cool. I loved learning that. It has stuck with me forever. So, again, my journey to spirit began the day I was born, but intentionally, it began back in 2012. At this time, my life really truly blew up. I ended up moving out of my home to give myself the space I needed to figure out me. I'd been married for 7 years with an amazing man, but I still felt empty, still felt disconnected and could not figure it out. So I had to get space and clarity and give myself time without distractions, without anyone else demanding something of me. Let me be clear, my husband wasn't demanding, but when you have a partner and when you have a home, there are demands that are there, right? My husband's very loving. I'm so glad we were able to come back to each other. But I needed to know what I truly wanted for myself. And one time I found myself in an evening gathering for women. And I wish I remembered what it was called, but I think it was just like Women's Circle or something like that. But wow, it was incredibly powerful. Women of all ages, backgrounds, and beliefs coming together in a safe space to empower one another. And it was incredibly healing. And this class, I heard about another biweekly class called Psychic Development. And honestly, that was a huge shift and another turning point for me in my life because I decided I had to go to this class. Now, keep in mind, the way I grew up, psychic development was very scary. So I actually went into this class with a huge amount of fear, not knowing what to expect. Was it a satanic cult? Would demons be following me home? Was it a bunch of hooey? Or would it actually help me understand who I am and the connections that was making? I left that class thinking, holy shit. Psychic abilities are real. This was an incredibly freeing moment in my life, like an incredible freeing moment in my life. And I found a community that I actually felt I belonged to for the first time in my life. And as the world says, the rest is history. As I grew my abilities and how I strengthened them, and the more I learned, I started calling myself a psychic medium. Then it was spiritual medium. Then it was spiritual teacher. But nothing felt quite right. Like at the moment when I picked the label, I was like, yeah, okay, but it just doesn't quite feel right to me. Then a few years ago, Spirit said to me, you're not one thing. You are a channel for spirits and energies of all types. So you are more of an oracle. That is who I am today. I am not perfect. I am definitely not finished evolving. Definitely not. But I am aligned. And that changes everything. What am I aligned to? I am aligned to the vibration of love. I am aligned to frequencies of creating a life that I love. I am aligned to my intuition. I'm aligned to spirit. I'm aligned to endless possibilities. I'm aligned to the frequency of discovery. I'm aligned to the frequency of breaking past barriers, breaking past what I believe to be true. That's what I'm aligned to. I'm aligned to change. And let me tell you, change is not always easy for me, but I'm aligned to it and I love it. So, this podcast is for the woman who feels the whisper, the woman who knows she is meant for more, but cannot yet explain why. The woman who doesn't know 100% what that first step is going to be, and even what it's going to take to change your life. This podcast is for the woman who is tired of living according to expectations and ready to let her intuition guide her to a life that brings soul level happiness, fulfillment, peace, and abundance. A life she is excited to wake up to. Here's everything we are going to talk about. We're going to talk about remembering your divine and spiritual connections. Yes, I promise you, you have them. And it's not about teaching you about it, it's about igniting your intuition to remember what you truly know on a soul level beyond the limits of fear, what you are truly capable of. This is so important for me to get you to understand. So, I used to say I would teach people how to connect to their intuition, but that's not true. Your intuition is already there. Your ability to connect to spirit, your loved ones, your guides, the universe, it is already there. You've simply forgotten how to do it. So it's time to remember. This is a sacred, safe space to remember how connected, powerful, capable, empowered, divine, loving, amazing you truly are. We're going to talk about feminine power. We're going to bring goddesses forward. We're going to bring amazing women that came before us. We're going to talk about Wicca. This is, I am just starting my Wicca journey. I've been dabbling for a little while, but I've fully committed to it for now. And that's because Wicca is truly a space that is not meant to be feared. I wouldn't call myself a witch, but I do believe in how amazing those that were before me are. And the awakening that's happening is quite amazing. So sorry, I can't remember if I said this, but we're going to talk about feminine power. Yes, I did, because that's what led to Wicca. So we're also going to talk about healing, aligning, spirit, and expansion. How to create those, even if you're at the very beginning. We're also going to talk about what it truly actually looks like to choose yourself. Not it just in theory, but in practice. Because listen, you know this. The woman does not need more women shrinking. Our world seems to, expanded for some time, and now it seems to be that our world is, becoming smaller. Our voices are trying to be stomped out, and this is not the time to let that happen. We need women who are ready to fight and have their voices heard. And that is you. I promise you, even if you are whispering, and for now, whispers can become really loud the more whispers there are. The world needs women who trust themselves, women who aren't afraid to put it all out there, not to be judged, but to inspire the next woman who is coming after her. Trust me when I tell you, you are 100% without a doubt inspiring another woman in your life. 100%. So if you're here, it is not by accident. And I am so grateful that you are here because something in you already knows it's time to wake up and remember your empowering truths. Remember what has been taken away from you, even when you were a little girl. If you take nothing else from this first episode, take this. Your intuition is not random. 100% not random. It is powerful. Your desires are not delusional. I truly, truly believe that dreams, goals, and desires are in you because it is, again, a remembering from your higher self, from your soul, from your cellular DNA, energetic DNA that those dreams, goals, and desires are within you because it is possible for you to create them. It's just, where are you putting your energy? Are you putting your energy in the fear of doubting your capabilities and that it's safer to stay hidden away? Or are you going to put faith and trust in creating and going after those dreams and goals because they are meant for you? Your pull towards something more is not selfish. It is, again, a remembering within you of what is possible in this lifetime. It is guidance. And you know what? It is not only safe to follow it, your intuition, but you are allowed to. Women around the world, and at any time that you are listening to this first podcast episode, it is your time to remember to trust yourself and to step fully into your power. Welcome to And She Remembers. I'm Sarah Manning, your host and guide through this intuitive journey, and I am so grateful you are here. And make sure to like and save this episode and send it to another amazing, powerful, inspiring woman that you want to walk beside on this intuitive journey. Live in love, love and light, and I will see you next week.